Hello to my friends at SeemsGoodMagic.com. This is Travis Sowers, and we're jumping into a Flashback Scars of Mirrodin draft. These are single elimination. They're not in league style, so there's downtime between rounds, but you guys don't have to wait for that. It's a video. We can pause it. This set has a little bit of nostalgia for me. I haven't really done many of the Flashback drafts because they were all from time periods where I wasn't playing Magic. I basically started with Revised and kind of lost interest in the game, I don't know, around like Prophecy era, but came back when Mirrodin Besieged was released. So I've drafted Triple Scars a couple times on stream now, but had not drafted Triple Scars, had drafted Scars with Mirrodin Besieged. So I know these cards, I understand what you're trying to do in this format, and it's one that I really enjoyed and have some nostalgia for. So I'm looking forward to being able to play through these over the course of the next 3 weeks as they do first Scars, then Mirrodin Besieged, and then finally New Phyrexia, which is just awesome. So buckle up, we're going to go on a wild ride, I hope. Let's see what we got here. So Molten Psyche is not a card, so we kind of whiffed on the rare. That's okay. It's kind of a rare-centric format, but it's not entirely a rare-centric format. One of the themes is Infect, so you've always got to be aware of the Infect deck. Those cards in Triple Scars are exclusively in black and green. You don't have to be too scared there. It doesn't look like it initially if you've never played Scars, but I think the best card here is just the Sylvok replica. You want enough artifacts to have Metalcraft in your Metalcraft decks, and this destroying an artifact, and to some extent an enchantment, but so much of the creatures in this are artifacts that this is kind of just a 1/3 that'll sit there until you need to kill something. Flesh Allergy is okay too. The life loss isn't super relevant. You have to sack one of your own dudes, so it's like a super expensive Bone Splinters, and then since a lot of black cards are focused on Infect, the life loss doesn't really do that much, so you don't really want to start first picking a common, but there's a lot of weird rares and stuff. Like this is kind of like a Wheel of Fortune, but if you've got Metalcraft, they take some damage. It's just not doing enough. I also like drafting green if I can, because sometimes you can get some really big monsters. Like Tangleworm. Galvanizer is actually pretty good. The Gold Mirror may just be the best thing here, though. The Intimidate isn't quite as good in this set when most of the creatures are artifacts. It's like, oh, only half your creatures can block my dude, and the 4/4 isn't huge. Yeah, really like Mirror Galvanizer. If we're going to go for a green plan, though, the Gold Mirror may be better. Although if I can pick up any other mirror, this just makes them better. Do I want to start with 2 3s? It's like, it depends on how well the people that are drafting this format know it. Because if they know it really well, they're going to be taking mirror really highly. But one thing I like to do is a dinosaur strategy, which is basically collect all of these mirror and then try to just cast big things and kill your opponent. But I'm going to take the Galvanizer here. Since I'm already predisposed to wanting to get as many mirror as I can, there's the guy we're looking for at the end of this. That'd be great. Kind of doesn't look like it, but this is a first pick quality removal spell. It will just kill things. It's good. So we've got the Tyrannax. You don't, like, if you're going to do it, you're not supposed to be taking them this early. Carapace Forger is fine. Revoke Existence is very good. Rusted Relic is cool if you can get it going, and sometimes you can. I'm stuck between whether I want the Carapace Forger or the Rusted Relic. Or honestly, the Revoke Existence. The Revoke Existence is probably just better. If we end up in green-white Metalcraft, that's just fine. And I should wheel either the Tyrannax or the Forger. Somebody's not going to know it's that good. Yeah, we'll take the Revoke Existence. It's just too good here. Like anything that says destroy target artifact, you're in. You want it. It does what you want to do. All right, we're a little light on stuff here, but I second picked a Galvanizer. I'll pick another one here. I've really got to prioritize any mirror we see. But I'm fine with that. They do pump each other, which is kind of neat. Auroch Replica's kind of meh. This is a Sakari and a Bladed Pinions. Like, if we're going to play white, this is one of the reasons to be white. It's like putting an equipment on that's not bad, and bears are okay. But as you can see, a lot of people are running these replicas. It's like a question of, do I want the worst replica Or do I want something that's good with equipment, or just an artifact to play? I think this is enough of an incentive to go in. Like, none of the rest of the cards here are actually very playable aside from the Volshock replica. And if we pick up an equipment, it's great. If not, it's at least a cat. Meow. I'm not kidding. That was kind of bad even for me. Sorry about the slurping. I'm having my morning coffee as we record this. All right, we're coming back with, okay, white's open. This is a really good card, and getting it this early means we can look for ways to abuse it. If nothing else, you can bounce equipment off of your opponent's dudes, which is pretty cool. Like if we pick up an arrest, we can change the target for it. That's kind of the pacifism of this set. We can also look for any enter the battlefield abilities that might be fun to play with this, but Glimmerpoint Stag is very good and leads me to believe that we should definitely be in white. The Lifesmith is okay. It's interesting that there's a lot of cards that gain life in this set, and then the Horizon Spellbomb was a consideration too. But anyway, there's a lot of cards that gain life in this set, and then one of the primary decks is just like doesn't care if you're gaining life. Molder Beast is better than it looks. Like I'm certainly going to splash a green for the Sylvok replica. Like, this card's just nuts. I'm just trying to decide if I want a Molder Beast or the Edge Right. If we go heavy white, this can be good, but we'll have 4 white cards and 3 artifacts, which is not really enough to turn it on, and often makes it a 2/2. I think I'd rather play the Beast and really prioritize Mirror. Like, we're going to have to find some, don't get me wrong. We don't have them now, but we'll see what we can do. All right, so none of these cards are actually playable. They all kind of suck. This one's like gain life, right? Yeah, I don't want to derp around with that. Yeah, all of these are bad. I'm going to take the Thresher. I doubt we play it, but if we need dinosaurs, we can find them. The dinosaurs are not wheeling, so I may have to play something else. Again, none of this is particularly good. Vigilant Distraction is an okay sideboard card. I'm still saying we're green, but we don't necessarily have to be, I suppose. I'll still take the Wing Puncture. It's a decent sideboard card. Yeah, they're just not coming by here, are they? None of this is actually good either. I'll take the green card for signaling purposes, but we may just end up doing something else. Like, Scrapdiver Serpent doesn't look good, but it's okay. It's another thing you can do with a bunch of Mirror, which I'm already interested in taking. Let's take that because it's a white card. Same here. So, like, we'd like to be green, but none of the incentives wield. The Carapace Forger or the Alpha Terranx. So it may be time to look at a blue strategy as a possibility. White and blue do go together. We're open enough. Like, you can play this as a 3-mana 1/3 and have a random forest in your deck somewhere and be happy. Like, let's say we open a Scrap Melter or whatever. Maybe we just go red. But I think I'm going to take Mirror over anything that's not just amazing. Well, there's not a Mirror here. There is a Glint Hawk Idol, which is pretty dang good. It's also a Tangled Angler. This blocks everything. Forcing someone to block it's pretty dang cool, too. It's another Sivok replica. Like, these are just good. There's also a Trinket Mage. We don't actually have anything to get with it, which is unfortunate. Huh. This is actually a tough pick. Like, this is one of the few creatures that you'll play in your non-infect deck that's good. I kind of just want to stay white and take the Glint Hawk Idol, because I have a feeling that green was not open. I really just want Mirror to ramp into something, whether it's Molder Beast or Serpents. That's fine. This is a tough pick. I'm going to take the Idol. I could easily be wrong here. Could easily be wrong. There's a Silver Mirror. I have been mentioning how much we want them, and if I don't start taking them now, I'm probably not going to get any. There's also a Sky Eel School, which is a very powerful card as well. Back in my day, when I started drafting again, 3/3s for 5 that flew were good cards. But I'm going to take the silver mirror and stay open. You play off-color mirror and are happy to do so, typically. So it doesn't matter which we're doing here. There's a copper mirror. There's also a leaden mirror and a acid web spider and a revoke existence and a silver mirror. Holy crap, and a spike shot elder. What a pack. What a pack. It's so good. Acid web spider's stupid. I'm tempted to take that and then cross my finger that whoever's on my left doesn't value mirror as highly as me. Because like this starts to look like a really good deck for the format. So I was tempted to do it and I just did. Was up. That just happened. It's one of the better infect creatures. It doesn't look like it, but it forces through a surprising amount of damage. Asceticism can be a beating. It can also just do nothing. Like it turns all of your dudes into Thrun, which is neat sometimes, but doesn't always do anything. Like we can take a Volshock replica just to have more artifacts, but yeah, asceticism can be a beating. I'm going to take it, and maybe we can load up on creatures. Mirror Reservoir is not what we want. It kind of looks like our colors are getting cut, but it's a little difficult to tell. Riddlesmith is a fine card. Surtark can get going. Maybe I just need to get off the I want to play green streak and stop forcing it. Because like we know we've got good white cards. We'd like to get equipment for the Sakari, obviously, but I'm not going to play garbage equipment. This is a little bit too slow. It's almost playable, but a little bit too slow if I'm remembering properly. I'll take the Riddlesmith. It's pretty good. Put it over here with the Scrap Diver Serpent. Like one of these will get going. Iron Mirror in. Welcome to the deck. Welcome to the deck. Interested in Skyguard, interested in Chrome Steed to an extent, but like I've been saying the whole time we want Mirror, and we do. I also want something to do with the mana that I get from them, but whether that's a Scrap Diver Serpent or a Molder Beast or whatever, that's fine. And with 2 Mirror Lords, like just turning them into 2/2s makes them relevant. Now we're starting to see things on the wheel. We've got a Soliton. Bonds of Quicksilver is not good, but I think it's probably enough to push me off of the green, which kind of sucks. I really wanted to showcase the Dinosaurs deck, but I'll draft it again on stream. It'll be great. This doesn't look like great removal, but it's kind of like an Assassinate. Like we've seen plenty of cards like this, and you just need stuff removed. Like, it's also conceivable we could play multiples of these cards. The Acid Web Spider is so good. And the reason Soliton is interesting is there's a card that combos with it. But, like, I'm just getting past good blue cards. I think I should probably just suck it up and, like, take the last pack of good blue cards and move along. We can still play the replica, potentially. Maybe we pick up a Copper Mirror and can fit it in there. But like it's starting to look like our blue cards are just not quite better, but getting there. I like to get 3 Mirror in a deck if I can. That one pack just had all of them. It's interesting drafting these old formats because you'll have a couple people that like in the pod that have played it and they're playing it for nostalgia and they remember what's good and what's not. And you have a couple people who've never played it. They're just like, huh, what's this? Let's try it. It creates for an interesting draft experience. Like that Turn to Slag is way too late. It's a really good card. I don't think I can take that and move in. I think I'm at the point where I just take the Snap Sail Glider. It's not great, but there's a reasonable expectation that it might be able to fly at some point in the game, and it's a creature. So at this point, we're probably happy with that. Trinket Mage, not getting anything yet, but there's a lot of 1 casting cost artifacts we would like to get, potentially. So we will see. Yes, we will see. Wayfarer is not great, but if we do end up with more of a Skies deck, we can consider playing something like that. So I'm not exactly sure which way we're going, and we may be a little short playables, which is fine. Like I said, we can play a Thresher as our top ramp target. The only problem with a 7 mana 6/4 is like A lot of stuff kills it. Trinket Mage is quite powerful, though. There's another Molder Beast. There's also another Revoke Existence, though. So I'm just going to snap that up. I want as much removal as I can get, obviously. And split between two colors as we are currently. Kind of just want to... Like, I know I'm playing white. The Revoke Existence and the Glimmerpoint Stag are that good. You could argue cut white, Travis, and move along, but I don't think that's the world I want to live in. None of these do anything. See, there's another Bonds. I don't really want to play two, but if I gotta, I will. It's not great, but it's better than, you know, second to last pick or whatever. So we've got a Tangleworm. This is a fun card. It's not actually very good, but it's certainly fun. We could try a Horizon Spellbomb. Like, getting land is good, drawing cards is good. The best card here is probably the Turn to Slag, but I can live with myself without taking it. Like, if we're going green, we probably want the Horizon Spellbomb. If we're going blue, we probably want the Origin Spellbomb. It gives us something to fetch with the Trinket Mage. We can plan on ramping into the Scrap Diver. I think I actually like that plan because I've just not seen the green, and we've been getting really late blue. So if I do something like this and take the Origin Spellbomb, it's neat to nab it with this guy. It's another artifact for this dude. It cycles through. I'd really like an equipment, but there's not one here. But if white and blue continue to be what's open, we can go with that. And even if I get past a green bomb and we're like, okay, we're doing it, that's okay, right? Like, we can still play the Origin Spellbomb. It's not bad. God, we've seen like all of the mana fixers, which is funny. Some of those are probably worth something in Modern. This is the combo with Soliton. It's also very good in Infect decks. Like, it's 7 mana before you get your first ping, and then you've got to move it again. But Soliton, you can pay a mana to untap, and the Infect damage is just worth it. I probably have to take the Silver Mirror here if this is what we're doing, and then just look for like Seal Eye Schools or Sky Eel Schools. I always say that card wrong. All right, we got another Spell Bomb, which is fine. This is probably the best common Infect creature. Like, this is the one you want. You get this dude, you put some equipment on it, you can win games. But I'm just going to take another Spell Bomb. Another Glinthawk Idol is fine, but I might be able to play a Lumen Grid Drake at this point. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 artifacts that we're playing. That means we're not gonna have the thing all that often. Like, the Sunspear Sakari is kind of looking bad. Kind of looking bad. Yeah, I guess this can at least attack and block. But, you know, if I want a 2/2 flyer, just take the Glinthawk Idol and see if I can wheel one of those. Razor Hippogriff, welcome to my deck. Oh, there's a Life Staff. I want the Life Staff too, but this guy's just great. It's a Gravedigger for artifacts. Like, you may have noticed, we have some artifacts, 2 of which naturally go to the graveyard. It's also finally gives us something we can excitedly blink, besides the Trinket Mage, which I'm pretty happy with. All right, we've got a real plan. It's kind of the Scars version of blue-white flyers. And we've got more creatures than it looks like. The Glinthawk Idols are creatures. These are, I mean, they're making 1/1s and cycling, but that's fine. None of these cards do anything. Yep, just stone nothing. Hack a removal spell. Bad removal spell though it be. The removal was not great in this format. So I've got what? I ended up with 3 mirror, which is what I said I wanted. 2 of them are on color. That's handy. Darksteel Sentinel is okay. Invisivancer's not as good as it looks, but it's still okay. Turn Aside is fine. Sentinel, I guess, gives us something to do. You kind of have to be careful with this because, like, the infect creatures still wreck it. But, you know, if I'm playing all these mirror and I want to have something to ramp into, it is better than a Thresher. Yeah, I'll go with Home Slice here. Well, if Tanglecore's not absurd if we're looking to do some blocking. Like, we don't really have the Air Force to finish it off, right? Like, we're using Glinthawk Idols and a Razor Hippogriff as our flyer, so I'm not certain that I actually want that. If I had a replica of a different color, I might would take it, but like I can already play this if I want it. And we're not seeing the flyers. Meh. I don't want him a 3-mana 2/2. I'll take the wall. I may end up putting it in there. We'll see. We'll see. This could be a plated Sea Strider deck. Like, I'm going to be heavyish blue. It's pretty bad, but, I mean, we might play it. We didn't quite get where I wanted to go, but that's okay. Turn Aside is main deckable. Turn Aside is main deckable. Just get all of them we want. We're still kind of in that awkward spot where the green's almost as good as the blue. But that's kind of how this works out. Like, I think I may just jam Razorfield Thresher in here and call it a deck. Maybe a Turn Aside. We'll see. This actually gets playable with the next 2 sets, which is funny. Like, when it comes out in this pack, you're like, what would you ever want to do with this? Nothing. Ever, because it sucks. Except they start printing these Wellsprings in the next 2 sets that are really good if you can sacrifice them. So all of a sudden the Koldatha Rebirth moves from a last pick card to something a couple decks are actively wanting. But welcome to Scars. It's full of artifacts. We're in a little trouble in that we didn't open up any rares that were great, and like the rares that are great are really great. They're like fantastic. But we've got solid. But what are you? Why Moto? Why would you do that? The cards that we have are good, and we've got solid removal. Revoke Existence is, I mean, obviously better if it were an instant, and Bonds is not the best in the world, but for the format, this is pretty good. So I've got 3 mirror. That some people will cheat on lands with 3 mirrors and 2 spell bombs. I think I would rather play a Thresher as just kind of the world's saddest ramp target, and then probably the Wall or the Sylvok replica. If I'm not playing a green, then a 0/6 is better than a 1/3. We never ended up getting any equipment for the Sakari, and there was probably some I could have taken, but I mean, it is a grizzly bear cat. It's a bear cat. Roar! Yeah, I guess this can potentially fly. This can fly. I'm not quite sure how we're going to win a game. We could play a Turn Aside. Yeah, with this many creatures, it's not that hard to leave this up. And somebody's going to have removal. So I think we can go with that. And then maybe roll 9/8 planes. Yeah, I agree. For some reason, at least in this iteration, they're using the Zendikar lands instead of the Scars lands, which I think is a shame. I thought these lands were actually quite cool and told you something about the plane that they're on. You know, so hopefully they'll change that when they get back to the next one, although full art lands are pretty. But all right, here's our deck for the beginning here, and I will see you in just a moment for round 1.